Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kevin from Guys on the Ground in collaboration with Counterculture Inc. Filling in for Tyler today is the NCOIC of my Afghanistan deployment. John, if you want to kind of quickly introduce yourself.
John Schultz did 30 years active duty, actually 26 active duty, 30 years total, and with the Army National Guard and Army, and 33 years with law enforcement.
It's been 33 years for you in law enforcement?
Yep.
Did you
1991.
Didn't you start as when I knew you back in 2011? Were you still full time or were you part time?
Part time. I was full time guard.
No, did you actually get paid as a part timer, or are you doing like the reserve thing?
I got paid.
Okay, because I know like back then it was so like people actually wanted to be cops back then, unlike now that people were actually they were actually like working for nothing but to hold their commission.
Yep.
And now I think I know like the department I applied for, we had 200 people I applied with back in 2013, and we had 16 on our last test. Like, it's absolutely insane how much people don't want to be cops anymore.
We got one position available, and we haven't seen anybody put applications in.
Really? Is it a smaller jurisdiction or city, or
probably about maybe $2,400 an hour?
Really? Yeah. So okay, so that's definitely a smaller place. I think there's a lot of humming in the background for you.
My fan just started on the computer.
Oh, really? If you had headphones instead of being old school.
I know if we got a hookup for headphones on this thing.
Do you have Bluetooth headphones at all or anything like that? Like regular auxiliary?
I have my hearing aid Bluetooth.
Oh, I don't want that. All right. I don't think it's too bad.
I'd have to connect them.
Okay.
If they're charged.
If they're charged? All right. So for those just joining, my NCOIC of my deployment to Afghanistan is joining. He's a bit with the older crowd and doesn't exactly know how to use technology. So we're working on getting him headphones. Unfortunately, Tyler couldn't make it, but we got Kevin Peach, our last guest. He's going to be coming back on. I just invited him. So just give him a few minutes and he'll be back on as well. All right, John. So we deployed back in 2011 to Afghanistan. Looking back, I think I was way too young, and you probably agree to be on that mission.
No. Earlier, you were an 18 or anything.
I was 20. I was 21, but like the mission we were doing of working with foreign militaries maturely. What's up, Kevin? Kevin, this is John. John, this is Kevin. Like our mission we had of working with foreign militaries, like training with the Hungarians for what? How long? We think we were hungry for what? 10 weeks, give or take.
10 weeks.
10 weeks, and then taking them overseas with us. I was a quote unquote mentor to an Afghan company commander as an E4 or 5. I think I was too young for that mission. I started out at corporal. You guys got corporal. That's right. That was much appreciated. So yeah, it was a good time. I really I learned a lot though. I grew up a lot, I'd say, in that year for sure. Yeah. Kevin, what's going on? Glad you could hop on.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime.
I didn't know this, but apparently Tyler, other Tyler, owns a other farm, and he had something wrong with a goat. So he called his.
I was about to say, is it a goat farm?
I guess. What does a goat guy look like?
Tyler. Somebody other than Afghan, definitely Tyler.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Some of the things I've seen on the G Boss,
right?
unheard of.
For sure. All right, I caught a couple videos to break down here. Kevin, you got your okay. Kevin, I gotta say, like, I was making shorts of your videos, and they fucking crushed.
Yeah, man, they were good.
They did.
Definitely good.
They did awesome. So definitely appreciate last episode as well. I kind of want you to be a reoccurring guest, if that's cool with you. Okay,
Anytime you need me.
for sure. All right, let's see. This is the first one. Definitely, we could do some critique of these awful tactics. All right, let me blow this up here. I'll probably pause it throughout here. So this is a domestic going on. That's a lot there. So we see the knife in the guy's hand.
Yep.
So pause it real quick. I don't think people realize this, is that law enforcement can subpoena your Alexa. They can subpoena in-home videos. It's not against the law, like, to go to a private company and subpoena or buy your information. It's insane.
You can do it with Google. You can do it with cell phones. It's a geofence, really. Anything within that complex, they can get. If anybody has Alexa and they hear something, they can pick it up. They can grab it. The detectives used to do it all the time.
Right. I think if people realize, like, from this video, you're seeing it, that if your live feed from a camera inside your house can be used in a police investigation, and then we put on some podcasts like ours, they might not get the home video camera. All right, but onward.
We have him out here. He's got some kind of rock in his hand. All right now. What's the matter? None at all. Huh? Not at all. Not at all. Howdy. What you got in your pocket there? None at all. Looks like a knife. It is. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to pause here. What are you doing when the guy has a knife that close? I don't even think his gun's drawn. This is a body cam, so I'm assuming not. Awful. I'm going to Monday morning recording about this one. I don't like doing this, but it's awful tactics.
Yeah, I mean, it's comes out of the training as well, right?
Yep.
From us standpoint, if I see somebody at the backside of the car talking to a suspect, even if there's nothing in his hands that I can see, I can talk to him from behind the car. I would take the front of the car, use the engine block or the A pillar, and talk to him. And if he doesn't have his gun out, mine's either coming out of the holster and just hidden. Because what's the difference from being in the holster and hidden? It ain't escalating anything. He can't see me. I'm not drawing down on him until there's actual threat. But that one little second, hey, I'm good with it, but he clearly identifies, hey, is that a knife? I'm taking my steps back if I'm already in dead man's land. Just create this. Yeah, 21 feet, right?
You could absolutely just walk backward behind your cruiser from where you're at. Like, you didn't see a knife at first. Okay, now you do. You could easily walk back, get cover, put something between you and the suspect.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, if you reach for that knife, I'm going to shoot you. You understand that?
Or at least he tells him.
What I'm saying. You can't arrest me. You Mason? I'm not arresting you. I'm just telling you, if you reach for that knife, I'm going to shoot you. Are you a Mason? You understand that? Or are you Mason? No, I'm not a Mason. Yeah, you are. Are you? Yeah, you are. Okay.
Do you ask if he was a Mason?
Yeah. I mean, it could be. It's a lot of things that can go in that. I have no idea.
Right.
So, what's going on with you? Nothing. See, I thought all the time. 5:15.
See, I thought that might be where he had his hands up earlier, so I thought he had his gun out.
Okay, I don't think he has. They're going to play the video, I think, of the other officer's perspective. So I don't think he has his gun out right now.
So what's going on with you? Stop. Hold up. Hold up.
Non-lethal.
Yeah, way too close.
Right, Reps. You could tase right now.
All right, put your hands behind your back. No. Put your hands behind your back. No. Put your
Right
hand
there.
behind your back.
Nope.
Behind your back.
Shot.
And unfortunately, yeah, I don't know if you heard that or not, but there was one gunshot
Okay.
to the head, and then it gets to go from. We'll fast forward. This is the second officer's perspective.
The original caller says that he as a neighbor hasn't seen anything since. We did just get another caller that says the resident of the home advised the neighbor
okay?
out her window.
What are you grabbing there?
Apartment 335.
Put that down.
So one thing too is good is the fact that a lot like me, I had an earpiece in. I didn't like anybody hearing what was going on. If a guy had a warrant, even at nighttime creeping up.
Sure.
My body cam was always on tactical mode. It wasn't the blinking light. I always have to just look down and make sure he was either recording or not. And then my my radio, every time I would key up, it would light up, but I would turn that off for night.
Oh,
But
wow.
as far as
That's-
you can change all the settings on it. But as far as this, you can hear what if that's this call, what's being said from dispatch and the information. So
Right.
now when it goes to trial, hey, what information did you receive? Well, if you can hear it,
Right.
these are the updates I was getting. He broke out. I think he said something about broken out a window. They haven't seen anything that's
Right.
since. Though it's painting a picture right there compared to them pulling the files, what you actually heard, because he's probably not hearing any of this stuff when he's making contact. I know half the stuff that was being said to me when I was in contact with the suspect. I don't listen. That earpiece comes out. I'm not even worried about it. I'm worried about threat in front of me. So I think that's
absolutely
a pretty cool piece of it.
I have the ability to do stealth mode on my body camera. I don't because I'm afraid I'm going to say something stupid and not realize this is on, which isn't necessarily good tactics, but
Put that down. What do you got there? What's going on today?
So he's already telling him, stay right there. Just
right.
keep the de-escalation down. Stay there. You can
What's
do
the
the same
matter?
thing from right there.
Huh? Well, talk to us for a second.
Like,
What's going on?
you really
I
see
heard
the bad
taser.
tactics.
No, I heard the taser. Did you hear it?
Oh, yeah, I did.
I heard it. The taser 10 kick on.
Yeah, but you can't arrest me. You Mason?
I'm not
You
arrested.
Mason?
I'm just telling
Are
you
you
reach for
Mason?
that knife. I'm going to shoot you.
Are you
So he had the tent or the taser out, or charged
Right.
at least.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
His hand should be at his side that close.
What's going on with
No.
Nothing.
He can't even block it as fast as I got to get to him.
But this is the thing. They close distance too instead of creating it.
But also, like,
Great.
you also know you're going to arrest this guy. You know he just damaged a broken apartment windows. Like, he's
And he's
like, all right, you're under arrest. You're being tased. I see a knife on him. I'm going to make sure this doesn't escalate, further. I'm taking control of the situation right now.
Yeah.
It's not like you walked up on someone. You're not exactly sure what's going on. You know what's going on. You know he committed a crime. Let's end this.
Stop right there. Stop.
We're already past reasonable suspicion at this point.
Right.
Talk to you, find out what's going on.
Go ahead, touch me.
There it is. Pop, pop,
Yep.
done. End it.
Put your hand behind your
That
back.
taser 10's
Nope.
real.
Come on your back.
Even contact shots, he dropped it. Pop, pop.
There it is.
So he did deploy taser.
Did.
Shots fired. Start EMS code 3. I got a male subject.
All right, that's I would say bad tactics. Bad tactics got that guy killed. Right, wrong, or different. Bad tactics got him killed.
But it's also too, again, it's going to go down to that training, right? Like, what's the training aspect of that agency? What's their policies? Because at the end of the day,
Sure.
whatever that training is going to drive what the deputies or officers are going to be doing. Our training was huge.
Yes.
So one thing I can say about me and Mike, Cottonville Mike, our training at our agency was amazing, top of the line. And if you were outside of it, you felt wrong, right? You're like, oh, this
Right.
doesn't feel right. Oh crap, because I'm outside of my training. Even in the most high stress situations, it was just mandated. Hey, go to that back pillar, go to the front pillar. It just, and every other agency around us did the same thing. So if they came on us on a traffic stop, they knew right where to go. But small
That'd be
agencies
nice.
don't get that. They don't get that type of
No.
type of training.
I've had
John-
circumstances just like that where I was the only guy there.
Right.
I mean, that's how small the department is.
Yeah.
I got called to back up the sheriff's department because they were like 10 minutes out.
Wow. So yeah, Becca was far from you. So John, you're a school resource officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does the use of force change between when you're a regular patrol officer versus use of forces at a school?
Good question. It doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why, but I had a 14-year-old come up, try to put me in a chokehold and an arm bar while I was sitting down talking to a student, have no clue why.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
it's just like, he just ended up on the floor.
Wow. So it's the same use of force continuum you would typically use as a patrol officer you use in the schools.
Yes.
What
Well,
like what level?
I
of school do you work at?
downplay like my vocal commands. I try
Yeah.
to connect with them.
Sure.
So I'm not like screaming at them. I connect with them. It's like, hey, I thought we were friends. And that
Right.
seems to work so much faster. And if I even get a chance to touch them, that connects.
Sure, that makes sense. What like what level of school? Like a middle school, high school, or?
All schools are combined.
Oh, really? So you like it's like this that small?
Yeah,
of a
I get paid in
town.
high fives and hugs every day.
Wow. I mean, that seems like a fun way to end your career. Yeah.
So, John, I got a question for you. Let's talk about. So, me, just quick background. Me, I did 10 years in the Marine Corps. 33, or at the time I was 30 years old. I got into cop work. All right, up until February. My look at it when I was a new cop is like, I'm the newest of the new. I'm gonna learn everything I can. I love the road. I want to get the drugs, the guns. I want to do good stuff. That was it. Had guys like Mike and a whole bunch of other people that were supporting it the whole way. These guys that I'm seeing, and again, I was a drill instructor of the academy, and I'm listening to all these kids talk about what they want to do. I'm hearing kids right at the academy like, I just want to be a school resource. Cool. I want to be community affairs. Okay. I want to be an IA. All right. Like, I'm not talking anybody who's in any of those units, but for me, you're eventually going to go back to road patrol. So
Yes.
our age or Indian River, they're recruiting they're putting posters up saying, hey, come be school resource. Lat moved from another agency, come right over to us, go right to school resource. We're that short. What do you feel about these new guys coming up that do not want to be on the road and they're trying to get off the road as soon as possible? When I think that's your baseline, that's your bread and butter. That's going to make you a really good deputy or officer, or hey, you're not cutting it. This is not for you. You need to go find another job. Officer safety, the full nine, everything.
I believe that if we hear gunfire, we run to it.
Yep.
And
Hell yeah.
a new officer that has been on the road is going to run away from gunfire,
Depending on background, I would think.
depending on background.
Let's say high school kid coming right out of high school, 110%. No military, none of that stuff. Never been trained, never been shot at, none of that stuff. 100%. I just think it's
Yeah, I
weird
agree.
how it's more looking like a status or a look at me, I'm a cop, look at my Instagram, or look at my TikTok, or look at this. I'm a cop now. I made it. And the standards are so low anyways that it doesn't matter where you fall. I'm not putting in the work for my community. I am making it, posting a video, posting my pictures, going into work, sitting underneath a tree, or going to school resource. And honestly, some of the school resources I've seen, they don't do anything for the kids. You know what I mean? You could walk around during lunch, you could do a whole bunch of stuff for the kids, and it's just show up to work, sit in your office, leave at 5 or leave at 4 or whatever.
Yep.
It is. Bare minimum.
I've heard of other school resource officers in the area that they sit in their car all day.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
And
How's it
some
be
places
patrol?
that's needed.
And they
Some
sit-
places that's
yeah.
needed, right?
Sit
We
in the
need
car
those dudes
all day.
to sit in the. You need dudes to sit in the cars and handle those BS calls for service while I'm in the gym. Right? Like, I mean, I'll do little like at the
No,
last
they're
little grandma
assigned to the
cat in the
school.
tree.
They're assigned to the
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
So
exactly.
they're in
You know
the
what I'm
school
saying? Like,
parking lot in their car.
wow. So not even patrolling the
That's
school.
because you're not
not
even
running-
you have zero presence.
I get
That's terrible.
at least 15,000 steps in a day.
Awesome.
I'll do all
So
three floors.
what'd you feel about the shooting? About that officer not going in? How'd you feel about that whole thing?
The one in
The
Texas.
Olvade one.
The Parkland shooting? It was
That was the Olvade one. The one Antihero did where they talked about, yeah.
where he just sat outside for X amount of time and until he was on trial and everything for it.
And he was found innocent.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah, because of policies and I think it was
Lack
some
of
other
training.
dimension.
Right. So there's no. I think he's going to find civilly liable for that if he gets sued in a civil court. If you're a police officer, there should be a policy that says if there's gunfire, you run to it because you're the one that's going to do it. You signed up. There's a priority of life. You go. It's wrong that there's no punishment for that. But I think he's going to be found at the end of the day civilly liable for that.
It's sort of like in corrections, because I did corrections for a little bit, and up in Michigan, and they wanted you have a room full of I don't know if they'll hit.
No, you're
have a
fine.
room full of inmates holding a staff member hostage. I'm not armed. And they
They're
told
gonna make
me
it two. They're gonna make it two hostages to go.
they'll make it 2 hostages.
Yeah.
You're not arming me, so why give them additional advantage?
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of that, let's move on to another video of maybe why you shouldn't be armed in a jail. Let me switch this over real quick. All right.
That's a good one.
You seen this one?
Oh yeah. Quick, real quick. On the back too.
No shit.
You should just did a contact shot, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think it was just a contact headshot. Well, that's it. Get out, crime scene. Shut the door.
Yeah,
That's it.
he gone.
Oh,
Yeah, you made or what? I couldn't tell. It looked like an office.
So he was sitting next to an intoxilizer. So I'm making an assumption here, and I'm maybe gonna find out in the video, but I'm assuming they brought him in for some kind of OVI charge. Let me see if I can't look at that real quick.
yeah, like ours, if we had somebody in DUI or whatever it is, all my stuff, knives, anything, all my things stayed in my car. I put mine in my trunk, shut it, because there's a special button you can open my trunk. So if you did get in my car, you don't have anything there anyways.
Right.
But that was our policy. That was
So
and there's been
I'm
times
assuming
that
in
I
Florida
tased,
it's
I
the
was like,
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in
No,
Ohio,
If you were dual certified, you could bring your taser in. Yeah.
okay. In Ohio, it depends on the jail. Sometimes you can bring a taser in, and sometimes you just and sometimes you can't. You know, either way is fine. But you definitely can't bring your gun in. I think I agree with that. You for that reason, you should not be able to bring your gun in. You should have enough confidence in your defensive tactics, subject control skills to where multiple officers can handle one person.
Same thing in the detective bureau. When I went in I was attached. I wasn't a detective, but I went in. I was TDY to them, and they would have guys in the box. I go in the box. I have nothing on me. You have your hands. The guy wants to go, we'll go. I got 15 dudes that are gonna come right in here, so I just gotta last, But no guns anywhere in that hallway. Nothing. Nobody's walking through. If interviews are going on, because if he walks out wrong time, he isn't handcuffed, whatever, isn't free to go.
Right.
Hey, that's game on.
Yeah.
Why did they have to
absolutely.
go to the lethal versus pepper spray or taser?
Well, I think in that situation, they the subject grabbed the officer's gun. So in that case, it's you're at that deadly force. You went right there. You don't have
I've had
choice.
a guy grab my gun, and he woke up 3 days later.
What was your what would you do?
He beat the shit out of us.
Hit him
He
right
back
here.
like
with
Yeah.
with the what do they call that? A Superman punch,
Yeah.
and his
Okay.
cartilage was all back there.
But I think that's also, it goes back to training, right? It's some days I'm like, I don't feel like fighting anybody. Like, I'm just going to tase you. Some days I'm going to put my hands on you. It's
Not
just,
in defensive tactic.
yeah, it's what you're comfortable with. And some kids have never been punched in the face before. And the Marine
Right.
Corps, it was like the second day of boot camp. I got right in the face. And every morning I got a boot to my chest, In high school, plenty of fights. These kids nowadays, they don't know what it feels like. And then when it happens, it's that shock.
No.
And then they're like, done. I don't know what else to do.
Right.
That's what it is.
We're not advocating you out and fight people. We're just saying maybe you train something, at least.
100%. Don't.
Yeah. All right. We're getting feedback. John, is that your computer getting feedback from?
Yes,
Maybe.
cooling off again.
remember when I texted you saying get headphones?
I'd have to spend money.
Well, you got your Army retirement and you're making a full-time cop job. All right.
And someone has to teach me how to plug him in this thing.
All right. Let's see if I can. All right. Let's move on to. Is there any way you could stop that? It's really annoying.
I can't.
I can barely hear it.
Really?
I can't hear it.
You guys hear it all? If anyone's in the chats, let me know if you can hear the buzzing in the background or not. No, I'll move on from there. But we'll move on to an article about ICE. So recently, ICE capture, and this number went up. It's right now it's at like 1,100 illegals, migrants. There's 100 different names for it, depending on how politically correct you want to be. But so essentially, ICE deputized local and state law enforcement to assist them in immigration. I'm all about it. I think you should be able to do it. That they broke the law coming into this country illegally. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's an awesome idea, but I think it needs to be funded by ICE, but not the local departments.
So you're saying that they shouldn't be able to deputize like your local law enforcement agencies to assist them?
I totally agree with that, but I think they should get compensated for. Like, we're in a small community. We don't have like tons of money.
Right.
We waste on, like taking 2
Overtime.
hours to in process an immigrant, and
Right.
they go to court the next day. So that requires us to have an extra officer to take the guy to court.
I mean, I think they do that. And correct me if I'm wrong with this, but I know I was never a TFO guy. I wasn't cool enough to do it. But a lot of our TFOs for like the marshals and all those dudes, if they're on marshal time, they get paid by the federal government. It doesn't come out of agency pocket. They don't even charge for it. They get X amount of dollars. If you're deputizing, ominous, you are now a ICE agent or whatever it is. I think then it should be during this time when you're doing it. Now, if you're a deputized ICE agent and you're on your own shift and you come across, hey, that's if you can, and somebody's making a phone call to you, it's like, hey, I have this dude and you're on shift. I need you to come process him. That's where it kind of gets gray, because if you're on shift already, do I now come off shift and get paid by federal money, or am I already on shift and I'm getting paid by the department? Because you're really not at that point. You're not really doing a job of I would say a deputy at that point. I mean, somebody did commit a crime or came over illegally, but that's still federal side. That's
not your business. It's not your lane.
No. So I think that's the only weird thing. But I know if, like, for example, I go on a detail on a Saturday and it's all ICE stuff. If I got deputized, that is a federally funded thing. When I did Stone Garden, it was done by somebody, I don't know, something by the state. That was federally funded. It was $55 an hour. That agency, we billed the agency, but they got back paid for that federal time. I would think that's the only way it's going to work if you're going to do all
They do it
this
for
stuff.
FEMA.
Exactly. FEMA, all those things. If you go down to Miami for a case, your drive time, all that stuff, FBI's paying that. The agency can't afford that. No money.
So if I were to join, like in my local area, there's a joint terrorist task force. There's an narcotic task force called No Left, another one I think called HIDA. But like your agency doesn't get reimbursed for that. With the drug ones, what happens is any seizures you get, your agency will get like a cut of, but they're not like paying your salary. Like your agency still pays your salary. So I'd be curious. I don't know if anyone knows, like, is ICE reimbursing these departments for essentially deputizing them and using them to assist, catching people that shouldn't be here. I don't know.
Well, I know Martin County, or the last agency I was at, they had dudes that were making over $100,000 a year on top of their salary because they were doing so much marshal stuff. These dudes are making like $200,000 a year.
So they're getting paid by the marshals and their local department.
So they would work the regular days, and then on their at nighttime, whatever it was, they would go do marshal stuff. Because maybe they're detectives during the day, so it's 8 to 5, and then they would go do hood rat stuff at nighttime and go kick indoors and stuff.
Wow, that's awesome. Sign me up for that.
Big money
for sure.
Big money. You got to be cool though. I'm not cool, so I think that.
Right. Now I wonder if you house someone that's about to be deported, do you get confiscated for that?
Yeah. Is Trump paying that out?
If he is, I think maybe we should start one of these facilities.
You
There's be some money there
for whatever reason. You get
Our
300
department
people
nailed
in
the
your
guy.
jail.
Good. I'm sorry.
You get 300
Go ahead,
people in your
John.
jail, and I'm a taxpayer. That should be like red flag. Like, I'm paying for these dudes to sit in my jail when there's other dudes that can. That's 100% right. Like,
I don't agree with that. If you're a taxpayer of a local agency and there's illegals sitting in your facility and you're not getting reimbursed by the federal government, I'd be upset.
Last week, one of our officers nailed some guy. I'm not sure. They call him a coyote. And
guys run him over.
Asked for an ID card, and he opens the glove box and like tons of ID cards, Social Security cards.
That's a clue.
Which one you want?
That's called a clue.
Yeah. So, and ICE wants him, but he's being held here.
I know it takes
Right.
a while. It does take a while. It goes off a priority list. So we had a guy that would do. He was wanted by 4 different countries for. He's our jail for 6 months. It's like, you got him in custody. He ain't going nowhere. Okay. What? Like, he's wanted by all these other countries. Like, yeah, but he's not a priority. We have other things going on. So I think it's like a full-on priority list. Unless it's like an open case, trial, things coming up, they're not going to take him. And then again, because there's a lot of money. They should have other facilities, jail, something like that, to hold these people and be like, this section over here is for these people. This section here, if you're working this section, you are now paid by whoever, government, whatever.
Yes.
And then you take that bill, and again, I'm speaking probably the most simplicity of it, and it's not that simple. But this electric, this food, this stuff right here, government, here's your bill, we need our money, boof, and keep it going. How's your people that you are enforcing? Trump's enforcing this whole thing and pushing it, and you want us to help you. You got to help us. We can't.
Right.
And the agencies that aren't doing that, you're screwing your guys over a lot of extra money, overtime. There's a lot of money to be made by the federal government that they're just printing money, put it in my pocket. Let's do it. I'm all about it. But it's got to happen.
Yeah, if they can send like billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel and everywhere else, they can help out the local law enforcement a little bit, especially if we're doing your dirty work for you. Especially like your agency, John. If you got like one guy working, that means you got to call in probably someone to come watch him in the jail. That's overtime. It adds up real quick.
We have a tri-county jail, so
okay,
they're manned, they're staffed with turnkeys, and then usually the chief is on, but then he might have to go to court, whatever.
Right.
So they call me out of the school to like transport people to the courts.
Oh, that's annoying.
Now, do you guys have a policy that every school has to have a deputy in it or an officer or something like that?
No. Matter of fact,
Florida, we have it.
Yes. Somebody offered me a job in Florida. Come to Florida, we'll hire you.
Where at?
Ohio, like if it's all based on funding,
Yeah.
taxes don't get approved. Like Marysville lost all its school resource officers because no taxes.
It's crazy.
They refused the ballot. It just passed today though. So when they repeated the ballot.
Like if we don't have deputies to fill the schools, they'll take a sergeant and pay a sergeant because technically it's Daddy DeSantis's baby. You have every school since all the school shootings, you have to fill the school. So if you have to pay a sergeant, pay a sergeant. Like he's got
that's awesome. It should be.
Yep.
Let someone complain about that money wise until it's your kid in that school with a gunman in it. You know,
it's not like that.
100% agree with that.
Kids are traumatized for life. 6-year-old.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're either going to repress that and never try and remember that again, or they'll be messed up for a very long time.
Or they become a cop, and then they're still messed up.
or they go into the military, right, and they figure it out that way. The military is the worst place to figure out your issues. Usually it just adds on to your issues. All right. Do you guys know who and I just found this out. Maybe Dominic Izzo is?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
All right. So he's a commentator for Law. I guess he worked in the Chicago area for a little bit, and now he's a YouTuber. So he has an interesting video. I'm gonna share it here. Let me figure this out real quick.
We can get him on the podcast real easy.
Can you?
Yeah, Mike.
Mike. Hey Kevin,
Mike got on last week.
I got my granddaughters calling.
Okay, John. Yeah, man. Hey, appreciate you coming on. I'd love to have you on again. Good talking to you too. Good catching up. Yeah, man. No problem. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it.
All right. See you, brother.
Yep.
Take care. Yeah, Izzo was on Mike's podcast for Copville.
I'm definitely not as big as Copville, in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, it'll make a difference. It's one of those things. You get him on, I guarantee he has no issues with it. He doesn't care about. He just wants to get his opinion out there. And
all right, I'll shoot him a message. Yeah, why not?
Izzo's got a mouth on him. Did you see the shirt that they posted? Izzo was right.
No, I did. Okay, so I did see that. I'm literally just fighting about Izzo today. So here's what I want to post because I want your opinion on. So I don't want to shrink you. I want your opinion on not so much the female aspect of this, but
Look at him.
Where we at here? All right.
It's always in a suit. I love it.
Oh yeah. Is the audio playing? Oh, here we go.
Bottom right. I can't hear it.
You can't?
Mm-hmm. No.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear it? No, that's okay.
Yes.
All right. Did you see what happened there?
Yeah, it was takedown. He's probably running away from that car accident, I'm going to guess.
Right. So there was a fatal car accident, and he was the driver. The female officer did an awesome job. Did you see what she got on him?
Mount. He pretty much got full mount, body to body the whole time.
So she got a rear naked. She got a rear naked choke on him, and then she realized she got a rear naked choke on him, and by policy, you're not supposed to do that, and let go. And the guy, they eventually got him. They ended up tasing the guy and getting him. But I want to make the point that for a lot of agencies, you can use impact weapons such as like the ASPATON at a lower level, right? So you can use it at a lower level than you can use the rear naked choke at, which a lot of agencies consider, a lot of agencies consider deadly force. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. Do you know how easy it is in a dynamic situation of you're moving, they're moving, you're moving your arm, and you use that baton and accidentally strike their head and cause permanent damage compared to where you use a rear naked choke and be trained to do it, know how to do it. I'm not saying we just go out there and start rear naked choking everyone. You're trained how to do a rear naked choke, and you put them out for a few seconds, and that's it. That's it. They're done. You get control of them. That's it.
You have a blood choke, and then you have your airway choke, right?
Right.
And if you do the blood choke, it only takes 4 or 5 seconds, and you're out. It's just like you being under power on a taser. That's your time to put them in handcuffs.
I think that's a very comparable situation. Absolutely. Have you put out before in a blood choke?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Many we had to for all of our. I was a second-degree black belt in the Marine Corps, and all that meant was I know how to get. So, most time they're like, "Hey, very first one, they're like, hey, we're gonna make you go to sleep." Okay. And like you wake up, you're like, "What the hell was that?" And because you want you to see what it feels like. So when you get to that point of like, I want you to let us know when you're at that point of seeing the darkness. So now hey, I'm about to go out, or I need to do something before that. So it's but cops, when it comes down to it, are we going to start choking out cops? Is that in the training of like, hey, if you're going to choke somebody out and you know what the blood choke is, this is what a breath choke or airway choke feels like. It goes down to training how you can. If I do BJJ on the side and I can articulate, I didn't do a rear naked choke. It looks like it, but I actually did an airway choke or a blood choke. Yeah. He went 3 or 4 seconds. His airway, he could breathe the whole time. Yeah. Articulation.
No, I think it's something that we need to have certified at a formal level, train to our officers, and be able to use it on the streets. Because if you know what you're doing, and it's not easy, it's very easy to know what you're doing. You're going to put someone out. You're going to feel them go limp. You're going to handcuff them and put them in your cruiser. You're not going to take your baton out and go to strike them in their muscle mass, which is the targets of the ass baton. But maybe they duck and you smack them in the head and kill them. You're not going to do that.
And I think you'd actually be covered more if that happened than if you were to put them in a rear naked choke, at least in Florida. Because again, it's what it looks like. I didn't mean to hit him in the head.
Not Ohio.
When he,
yeah,
it happens a lot.
Yeah, Ohio. Yeah, if you could articulate, yes, I went to strike a muscle mass between joints, and he happened to duck, and I hit him in the head. You'd be covered if you articulate that well. But you're not going to be covered if the guy was actively aggressing towards you, showing active aggression, not deadly force though, and you choked him out. But then you can still use that after that situation, which I think is way more dangerous than a rear naked choke.
100%.
Yeah.
You got to remember, policy never done this stuff most of the time. Most people making policies have never put their hands on people. They're sitting in an office.
It's not the people making policy though; it's the politics. We are letting politics on this one dictate our policy, and it's wrong. People don't understand what a blood choke is compared to an airway choke, and we let on this one we're letting ignorance dictate our policy, and that's wrong. I'm 100% against that.
Yep. And our safety goes out the window.
Yep. What else I got here? I'm gonna save that one for later. I got one more video. Hopefully you can hear this one. I don't know what happened. Maybe because that was Instagram I played that off of. All right. This one's kind of funny and kind of actually kind of funny because the suspect ends up living.
Emergency?
Hi, I was actually calling because my fiance actually got the tripping, and I'm kind of like in a police chase. You could say.
Have you seen this one?
With the Meridian police, yeah. And they're sitting there like chasing me, and sitting there, but it's like, so how do I really go about that?
Okay, let me speak with you a little bit. I can have an officer come speak with you.
No, because like honestly, like he's sitting here like saying some extra shit, and like I'm gonna go to jail. And
this is real.
This is 100%. This is real. It turns into a video after that one call, so you'll see.
Are you armed with anything yourself?
The dispatcher.
Are you armed with any weapons yourself?
I mean, yeah.
What are you armed with?
Glock 19.
Check.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry, but what?
Can you tell my family I love them? Because I'm not going to
Check.
jail. Like, I'd rather kill myself before I do.
There it is.
I'd rather have them to tell them to back off.
They're not
Because
going.
I
They're
want-
not going to back off, sir. You're continuing to feed them that.
I will kill myself
He's
right now.
polite. He's being very polite on the phone.
Okay.
I will kill myself right now before I fucking back off.
Well, I definitely don't want you to kill yourself. So just stay where you are.
I will
Slow
tell
down.
them right now before they fucking sit here and keep. I will kill myself right now.
All right, so here we go.
I hate those sticks. I hate them. Oh,
The ones I use are a little bit easier to use. They're kind of like wrapped up in a foam encasing, and you throw them out.
move the sticks, you jerk.
All right.
God.
Have you used sticks before?
Wait.
All right, don't
Yeah,
bullshit me. How many cop cars have you accidentally hit with sticks?
Ours are really good. You can control them. They're on like a reel.
Really?
I had the little thing. I always threw them across the street. I never placed them.
Yeah.
So if I had an open way, I would throw them,
Okay.
set them, and lay it down.
I mean, it's super dangerous to do. I had a buddy. He threw sticks in a chase one time, and he missed the suspect car and hit two patrol cars from a different agency.
18-wheeler to spits it across the highway, and then every car.
Oh wow. Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Hits it.
He's getting on eastbound 84, or correction, westbound 84. I'll try for a pit on the on ramp.
Yeah, good pit. Good pit.
Get out of the fucking car! Get out of the fucking car! Stay back! Stay back! Hands!
Tactics. Tactics.
Back up!
Oh,
They realize it here. Like it's when your adrenaline's going, you kind of have to like really slow it down. I just want to point this out, and I think you can relate to this a lot with the shooting you were in. Do you like these cars? Like those rounds are probably skipping off the ground. It might have hit a couple of those cars. But what are you gonna do?
You got to throw in the factor of these are skipping. Yes, it's either he's gonna take another car hostage that you're looking into that.
Sure.
It's the risk versus reward, and again, I don't know. I'm talking about the Monday morning quarterbacking. I even hate doing it on my own stuff, because it's like whatever these guys had going on, decision they made one. They made one. That's all that matters.
I mean, I think they made the right decision, 100%. I think they did the right decision. There was a tough call. They made it.
Armed dude running in the traffic. Yeah, you're taking one.
Right.
It looks like he did a lot.
Move your hands! You put your hands high there!
Different perspective.
He's going.
Oh yeah, it's just training in the passenger seat. Oh yeah. Goddamn seatbelt. At least they went side by side though. I'll give them that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stayed online.
Right. Like the fact that like someone took the second to look around and go like, we're not good right now. We're not using cover. Like someone has to make that decision. Someone has to get out of their OODA loop, take a breath, look around and go like, we got to get cover right now. We're making mistakes. So that's good on them.
He's got look at that A pillar compared to where he's at for the body cam with the rifle. That's a great spot. Great spot.
Absolutely.
Miss.
Misses, yeah.
Let go of the gun!
All right. And then they give him first aid. I thought this dude wasn't going to make it. He ended up living. Surprisingly. But he didn't get his wish. He did end up, I'm sure he had to go back to jail.
Thanks. And that was, you said,
I'm sorry, say again.
was it a domestic call?
What was it originally? Does it say that? I looked at it earlier.
I said something about his girlfriend or something like that. So probably was domestic in the house. They had charges and he took off.
Responding to reports about fight in progress. 24-year-old male Jeremiah Bainbridge was punching into a car and appeared to be engaging in an altercation. The victim remained in the scene and spoke with officers. So some kind of altercation, and then the guy probably had warrants of some sort, or clearly had some kind of clearly had been in running with the law before because he knew it was going on, and ran from the police. What's the farthest an agency has come to pick up one of your warrants?
Ooh. I honestly don't know. I mean, most of the warrants I've ever gotten were pretty local. Our agency, we had a whole warrants page, so I can go on there in my zone and be like, "Oh, this guy's a warrant." I'm gonna go. I know where he's at. I'm gonna go or sit on his house from outside. So we didn't have a warrant squad. We were free to do it, and if we had a felony, or I'm sorry, if it was any warrant at all, it was minimum 2 people would show up automatically. Like, I'm going with the buddy. I'm not putting a dude handcuff on myself.
Yeah.
And if it came up as like capital murder and all this different stuff, we knew that's for the SWAT team. And I'd call the sergeant, like, "Hey man, I'm gonna take it off the warrant page before, dumb shit goes to the dude's house and knocks on his door."
Right.
So, but no, I mean, a lot of the stuff, once I took him to jail, I don't know what happened after that. I have no idea. If it wasn't my warrant, my case, I have no idea. But I know they go pretty far. Our area, it was Georgia, pretty much the surrounding states of Florida, up to I think Tennessee. They'll extradite most of the time.
Okay, so I'm in Northeast Ohio. Pretty recently, I had a warrant that was out of like northern Pennsylvania, and I'm like, "There's no way they're gonna get this guy." But the warrant was in the pickup radius, so I was like, "All right, dispatch, I think this is in the pickup radius. Just go ahead and see if they want him." And they're like, "Yeah, they'll come and get him."
Was it felony?
Oh yeah, it was felony. It was felony drug possession, and I think he was driving under the influence of drugs as well. So it was for a sheriff's office, which makes sense because it's felony. So I'm sure they had some kind of special unit that came and just picked him up. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've seen someone come out of like California and be like, "Hey man, just don't go to California." Well, I can tell you.
Right.
Don't tell me,
Yeah.
"Hey man, I got a warrant out of California. They're not going to extradite."
Right. I remember I stopped with this guy, and it was like, I forget how it was worded, but it was like Western United States, like anything west of like the Mississippi. And he's like, "Yeah, that's me. I just out of the pickup radius." And he's like, "I'm just never going west of the Mississippi again." And I'm like, "All right, man, cool. Slow down. See you later." Yeah. I know, Matt. I know you came on last minute. I appreciate that. While Tyler is tending to his goats. What do you think Tyler's goat farm looks like?
You need to send pictures. Do a podcast.
Right. All
Next
right.
time
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else? I don't feel like you have to. Like I said, you get a good chance to prep anything. Is there anything else you want to bring up or talk about or anything like that? We're kind of closing in the end here.
No, I mean, I just think a lot of these videos, again, it comes back to that training aspect and what you're doing on your own time. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
I more on my own. Even when I was with the SWAT team, I trained more, even though it was great training. I'm in the gym a lot. I'm doing gym stuff with shooting, training that together. It's survival when to come home at night. And if you depend on the agency to do
the base level, the very minimum you should do as a police officer and military is go to the gym. And if you don't know how to go to the gym, there's 1,000 people out there, including yourself, that will tell you how to work out.
I will get you there 100%.
Right. What's your fitness?
Doing everything, and I got K9 guys. I'm building a plan right now for K9 for St. Lucie County. They're going to do a program for me. It's incorporating their dogs, doing a little bit of shooting with working out, getting their VO2 max. I don't know if you ever heard of that before. And I'm giving them a plan for them for free and see what get my feed, build a plan, and I'm going to push it out and kind of help people out. So,
right. Is that what's your page called again on Instagram?
Hard Target Fit.
Hard Target Fit. That's right. Awesome.
I'm nationally certified and all that different stuff. And actually just got hired by one of the local gyms here. So it's amazing. Love it.
Great.
Every minute of it.
Like I said earlier, I'd like you to be a reoccurring guest on our show for sure. I appreciate you coming on. You always push out some good conversations. Real quick to plug our sponsor, Sendabrand, sendabrand.com. Use promo code GOG for 30% off your order. They have everything from sleep supplements to pre-workouts, brain health, veteran-owned business. So go ahead and check them out. So yeah, we'll see what's up next week. Again, I do my solo news shows. I put those out. They're pre-recorded, which I enjoy doing the lives way more than a solo news show. I enjoy doing it, but I don't have to edit as much when I do the live because it's just here we are.
But I mean, solo shows are good. I like them. What you're doing is good.
It gives me time to I get the chance to slow down and really talk about, I think, more in depth of issues that I want to bring up. And then I can bring them back here on the live, like the immigrant one and two, and get different opinions. Awesome, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, stay dangerous, everyone. We'll see you later.